Good morning, students. I welcome you to the video of a legend of the Northland. Before we start poetry and try to find out the poetic devices and the meaning of the verses, we have to figure out where is Northland. So have a look at the following map. This is North Pole you see, and there you see the Arctic area, the areas of Greenland, right? There's Norway, Finland, Iceland, parts of Canada, even parts of Alaska. These all form part of the Arctic region. Below the Arctic region lies Russia and its Siberian plain, which is a cold desert. This area was referred to as Northland. It's a legend. Legend means story or folklore that travels from word to mouth. They don't really have any author for them, and it has been coming on from generations together. They always have a social message in that. So this legend comes from Northland. This is a story which is very popular over there, countries that belong to that part. Why it has been mentioned as Northland? The simple reason is because the story is so far old that at that time the existence of countries were not there. The areas of any land that existed in the Arctic region were referred to as Northland. Simple. Let's now move to the poetry and its explanation. Now the first line says, "Away, away in Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they can't sleep them through." In the region around North Pole, the duration of day is very less because its position is such that the sun's rays reach for a very little time. When this area is experiencing winter season, the duration of night is very long and the daytime hours very less. In line 4, they refer to the people who live in the region. The poet says that the duration of night time is so long that the people can't sleep through. If they go to bed, take a few hours of sleep, and then they wake up, it is still night time. He wants to emphasize on the fact that the duration of night is very long. To elaborate it more, we can put it this way, that you have heard about areas, land of midnight sun, Norway. Why it has midnight sun? Because they have 6 months of day and 6 months of nights. Their geographical location is that they can access sun for a certain period of time and they cannot for the rest. Hence, they say when it's winter, it's all throughout the night. Light, they can see the sunlight for very few hours. Hence, they have said the nights are so long that when you go to sleep it's night and when you wake up, you still find it's night. That's the geographical location description of Northland. Now the second stanza, where they harness their swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and children look like bear cubs in their funny furry clothes. The Northland region experiences severe cold condition. It's a snowy area. The reindeer is an animal which is found in this polar region. People tie the reindeers to sledges and then the reindeer pulls the sledges. He adds that the children look like young ones of the bear because they wear funny looking clothes made of fur, which is like a furry skin of a bear. Right? They are trying to create an image of a child wrapped with fur. Hence, and they look cute like bear cubs or any animal cub. They look very cute. Hence, the poet wants you to imagine the cuteness of the children over there. Now the next stanza is, they tell them a curious story. I don't believe this true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. In line 1, they refers to the parents of parents or elders, and them refers to the children or the younger generation. Right? They tell them a curious story. And after use of parenthesis, he adds further information that The poet doesn't really believe that would have been possible. The elder of the North region tell a strange and interesting story to the younger generation. The poet says that he doesn't think that the story is true, but if actually it's a she, if she tells you the story to the reader, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it. The story gives an important message. That's what she is hinting at. Saint Peter. Now, this next stanza involves Saint Peter. The fourth one. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching, just as he did, Now, Saint Peter is an apostle of Christ, a disciple or a follower of Christ, who spread the message of Christ all over the world, and preaching stands for to give religious sermons. So the story they tell their children is about Saint Peter, when he used to live in the world and went around giving religious lectures to the people, just like all saints do. Then an incident happened. Saint Peter was an apostle of Christ. His job was to move around and make people aware about the teachings of Jesus Christ. And in this process, when he was alive, when he lived in the world below, means he is alive. Now he still lives, because he is a saint, so he still lives, but now he lives in heaven. Earlier, when he lived on planet Earth, in simple terms, when he was alive before his death, his job was to move around, go from one place to another, preaching the teachings of Jesus Christ. He was involved in the spread of Christianity. And that was the only thing he did while he was alive. He came to a door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Now, baking is cooking food with direct connection of in the hearth itself. We don't use other utensils, so it is in close proximity to the flame. And hearth is what we use earlier, mud-made stoves where coal or wood was put in, and food was cooked over it. Before the gas stove was invented or the kerosene stove was invented, that was the only way to cook food. So Saint Peter had not eaten anything, and he went to not eaten anything the entire day. He had been fasting, right? So when it was evening, when he reached a cottage of a little woman, he was very hungry and was feeling very weak. A faint stands for weak. So he went to this woman who was baking cakes, and he asked for one cake. She was baking cake on the hearth, right? And it comes to the next stanza actually. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. Now, he was weak, and because he was fasting, had not eaten anything, right? And day was almost over. It means it was late in the evening. And he was very hungry. So he went to this woman who was baking cakes, and he asked for one cake out of the many cakes that she had baked. I like to keep it up to here. We'll continue this poem in my next video. We'll complete it rather in the next video. Till then, all of you, be careful, stay safe, and study hard. Goodbye.